Welcome to Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein podcast, as we lay out and simplify the various aspects of intellectual property law. We hope you enjoy this episode. Here we are with the third installment of the three-part series on trademarks. Again, we're back with our moderator and esteemed intern, Russell Pigg.
Thank you again. And so at the end of last episode, we said we're going to get into the perks of federal registration. So why don't you get us started off and tell us about those?
All right, so I'm going to cover some of them. There's numerous benefits, but just want to hit a few of them. One thing is federal registration gives you access both from an offensive and defensive position in federal court, which can be very advantageous. You can use customs to prevent the importation of infringing goods into the United States. You give federal notice of that registration, so it'd be tougher, and that's with the use of the R. It helps also give notice to third parties that it'd be more difficult to say that they weren't aware that you had the trademark rights. You can use it for foreign priority. If you get a foreign registration, you can also use it in other countries, or a foreign registration to get a trademark registration here. And one of the big advantages is statutory damages. Often a small infringement might not be worth it, but if you can get statutory damages, it's more of a hammer to shield yourself from potential infringers. And there's other, go ahead.
Yeah, everybody wants to get that money back that they're losing. But so you talked about some of the benefits of registering. What are some dangers if you don't?
Well, I mean, some of the dangers is someone else comes in. One perfect example for anyone who follows football is when the Washington Redskins wanted to change their name. They were thinking of a number of different options. Some of the options or possibilities either got out or people thought of them and they rushed to file in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So it literally cut off some options for the Redskins, or they would have to pay a lot of money. So if they filed a lot of intent to use applications, they could have not had to deal with such issues. Another example, I had a biotech firm, and they had to get FDA approval for a name, and they also wasn't sure which ones might work, so they filed a number of intent to use applications, and that way they kept their options open.
And so that just shows you why it's important to register. And so one other thing on trademarks for our little series here is one personal anecdote that I wanted to bring in. Now, I got this Georgetown shirt at a basketball game I was at 2 weekends ago versus Marquette, and on the shirt it had a Georgetown logo right here, and bottom right corner a little circle with an R. And so I was wearing that shirt the other day, and one of my friends asked me, knowing that now I'm doing this IP work, and they said, "Oh, what does the little R mean?" And so I explained it to them. But so for the listeners out there, why don't you explain what that little circle is that they might see all the time on these logos?
Well, after this podcast, I'll ask what you answer to this, but I briefly alluded to it, is that the R gives notice to third parties that there is a federal registration out there. And so it basically, I guess, should encourage them, I wouldn't say forces them, to check the federal registry to see whether that mark is protected federally. Keep in mind that the R is also used for service marks. Kind of trademarks covers the trademarks and the service marks together.
Right. I think that should do it for our three-part series on trademarks, and I think we got a good coverage of everything here for trademarks. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Michael?
Well, thank you, Russell. You did a great job. Like with anything, the types of protection you seek, how to do it, what's the best strategy. As I mentioned before, do you want to do a black and white where color doesn't matter? Take the For fiberglass, the pink color, if you see a green tractor, I believe it's John Deere. So color can have a big indication. If you sometimes you can see a logo. The MGM roar, and sometimes you want it stylized, sometimes you don't care, and therefore, are you going to file in multiple countries? Are you going to have lots of different goods, or might you expand? So there's no simple answer, and you need to consider all your options as early as possible, because the longer you wait, the more likely that options dwindle later on.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the three-part series here on trademarks.
Thanks for tuning in to Unraveling Intellectual Property with Michael Stein. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at email@steinip.com. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Stein IP LLC.